Hi, I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation, and also the Marriage Foundation founded a sister organization called Premarital Academy, which offers guidance for those who are looking for their soulmate. And the real reason we created it was to give guidance for people who need premarital education. Thankfully, more and more states are actually giving a discount on a marriage license if you get the education before. Doesn't mean all education for marriage is created equally. And our philosophy and our approach to marriage, naturally, I feel is the best. So this is how to prepare for your marriage, not for your wedding. And that may sound like a cutesy thing to say, but we've been to the trade shows and I've spoken to all of the vendors, the people who rent the tuxes and prepare the wedding cakes, and they all say the same thing, that the majority of the people who come to them are already fighting. And the reality is that in our society, we've gotten to the point where we accept that fighting is part of marriage. And people sort of suggest that it's okay if you're fighting in your marriage. It's just a matter of how much you're fighting, which is nonsense. Why do you get married? You don't get married so you could have this big lavish party called the wedding, and then you're like on a Disneyland ride where everything is taken care of. No. The wedding has gotten out of hand. The wedding is a celebration, but it's much more important than that. It is the moment that you commit to being married to somebody for the rest of your life. It's literally the biggest decision of your life, and it should not be done easily. It should not be done frivolously. It should be done with a lot of thought, a lot of consideration, and that's where we get into preparing for your marriage, not for the wedding. So look, how do you prepare for your marriage? Well, first of all, you want to make sure that you chose the right person. And I'm going to give you sort of the simple version of that. And the simple version of that is this. You're marrying your soulmate. And so what you want to do is make sure that your soulmate is more than just a soulmate, but reaches the threshold of requirements that make sense for you as an individual. In other words, you don't want to marry a bank robber. That's not going to create security in your marriage, male or female. You certainly don't want to marry a pedophile. You don't want to marry someone who carouses. If you're well educated, you want to marry someone who is intelligent enough to carry on a decent conversation. You want to marry someone who meets standards that are important to you. So that's the first step. The first step is very important. You got to make sure the person that you're going to marry is the right person for you, that you match up in practical ways. Simple way to do this is create a list. Things that I appreciate in a spouse, things that are deal breakers in a spouse, and make sure that your spouse-to-be meets your requirements. Next, and this is really important, and I'm going to make this blanket statement, and it's going to sound absolute, and it nearly is. Nobody knows how to get married. Nobody knows what marriage is about. No one knows what marriage is. Right? When I said to you, you get married to be happier than you have been, had you thought of that? Well, this is the time to put down on paper, not just talk about it, but to put down on paper, literally, why you get married. Yes, you get married to be happy, but what does that entail? Now, I'm going to give you the secret of secrets. And you're going to go, duh, but you hadn't thought about it. The thing that provides happiness in every single marriage, without fail, is this thing called unconditional love. Yes, unconditional love. And what happens is people get married and they don't think about unconditional love. They think about getting an apartment, they think about dishes, they think about curtains, what kind of bed they want. All nice stuff, but it's just stuff. Marriage is a spiritual path, believe it or not. Why? Why do I say that? I say it because you're a soul. You are. You're a soul, you have a body, and you have a mind. And guess what? The person you're going to marry also is a soul who has a body, who has a mind. You're not the body and you're not the mind. The biggest part of you, by infinite measurement, is your soul. All the rest are trappings. However, you got to use these trappings, which is the body and the mind, to bring the soul into focus in your relationship, in your marriage. There's methods. You have to learn how to properly communicate. You have to take personal responsibility for controlling your emotions and your habits. No one teaches us this in school. We don't learn this anywhere, so you've come to the right place. You have to find some way to learn how to control your mind. You have to. When people come to us and have difficulties in their marriage, they come to the Marriage Foundation. This is what we teach them first. We teach them how to control their mind. Number one requirement. As an individual, see, you are two individuals who are coming together, but you don't lose your individuality, you maintain it. And that individuality of yours has a responsibility to contribute to your marriage in a positive way so that your marriage will produce for you that which you want, which is unconditional love in never-ending progression. It's not a tall order. It isn't. It's why you get married. You get married to experience unconditional love. Really, the truth is, you get married to learn how to love unconditionally. It gets very deep. So don't worry about your wedding. Don't worry about whether the dishes are perfect or not. There's going to be those people who gossip no matter what. There's going to be those people who gush over everything no matter what. None of it matters. The only thing that matters is that your wedding is the first day of your marriage, and you want your marriage to be incredible, not just for 6 months, not just for the honeymoon period, but that honeymoon period, quote unquote, should last forever. It should be beyond a honeymoon period. It should be an ever-increasing experience of unconditional love, respect, and closeness, intimacy. And that's what we're talking about when we say plan for your marriage, not for your wedding. And you haven't done it. And don't tell me that you have. Don't tell me you got an apartment picked out. That's not what we're talking about. Who cares? You need to plan by preparing yourself, both of you, for what is to come, not for the problems that will come, because if you do it correctly, there ain't gonna be any problems that get between you. You see, when you're doing this right, the problems you face as a couple, you don't face with each other. And there's the key, right? We're talking about intimacy, closeness, love, ever expanding. You need to do the work. Don't put it off. Don't put it off till after you're married. Do it now. Do it right away. Put your attention on that. It's way more important than planning for your wedding. So if you'd like us to help you with that, we have made the courses unbelievably inexpensive. So go to the Premarital Academy and find these things out. Look into it. You won't regret it. I promise you that. What do you have to lose by doing it right? So blessings to you, blessings to your future, and blessings to your future family. God bless.